Have your team discussed the process in order for you to get to that world championship level? And is it kind of making you want to rush? And then also, Snap, with Malik, is that something that you got to keep in the forefront, that we don't want to rush him too fast and make sure we accept the process? Seeing Tank get there, so some people say relatively quickly. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't understand what age he started at either. Mm-hmm. But first for you, Kevin, does it make you hungry and want to rush it, or do you want to take your time?
I mean, of course, it makes you hungry, but everybody has their time, and everybody has their own course, mm-hmm. And I feel like I have mine mapped out the way I want it to be mapped out. I'm not trying to be world champion tomorrow.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? So mm-hmm. It's like it's seeing that progress in the process is good enough for me, because it will get me to that world championship level.
There we go.
So there's no rush, man. I'm young. I'm not even in my physical prime yet, man. So
right.
everybody is different.
Right.
Tank came up, through the amateurs. He fought at the highest level in the amateurs. He's done it all, and as a pro, he advanced and moved. They moved him very quickly. Everybody's learning curve is different.
Okay.
So you gotta know what your learning curve is. Not saying that mine is different than Tank's, but at the same time, he took a different route.
Gotcha.
His people, his management took him a different route, and it worked out for him. In due time, mine will come and it'll be here.
Outstanding,
absolutely,
outstanding. Keep that attitude, man, and I believe it will.
And guys, let's go ahead and open up the phone lines real quick. They've been on hold for a long time, so let's go ahead and take a call just real quick. All right, so we got 651. 651 is on the line. What's going on, man? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, is anybody there?
Yes, sir. What's going on, family? What's on your mind, man?
Oh, hey there. My name's Bill. I'm calling from Minneapolis.
Okay. What's going on, brother? What's on your mind?
Yeah, man. I just been one of your main subscribers to your show for a long time. Basically, been listening to you, man. I've been actually a bit more knowledgeable about boxing because of you guys, man.
All right.
Opening up all of the double standards going on in boxing.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Go ahead. What's on your mind, man?
So, I've been thinking about the Triple G type of situation that's been going on lately.
Uh-huh.
One of the things I've been thinking about the Triple G situation, in sense of like, should he decide to move up or should he go for the rematch against Danny Jacobs?
Uh-huh.
I think, in my opinion, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
We got you.
Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I think in my opinion, I think that Triple G should actually go for the rematch just to try to prove that he's a legitimate middleweight. But see, the problem I have with Triple G is it's not of him personally; it's the people around him. You know what I mean? That always throw up, kind of foolish rhetoric saying, like, he can move up to 168 and challenge against some of the other top super middleweights. And I'm like, he needs. I would just tell to his team, like, hey, if you think you could be the man at 168, then move up to 168. But don't try to spit around and just say, like, oh, I can just move up to 168 and challenge some of the other big guys, because there are at the top super middleweights that could give G some problems.
So you think,
a.k.a. Andre Ward.
Yeah. So what are you saying? You saying you think that he should move up to 168 right away and challenge himself? What are you saying?
I think, in my opinion, he should go up to 168. If he thinks he's the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, go up to 168 and challenge some of the other super middleweights that are waiting for you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I absolutely. I agree with you, man. I totally agree with you. But you already know he's going to most likely, like my man Kevin Newman said, he's going to go ahead and get that, cash out, security check by Canelo. But hey, but you know what though, my man Snap, because we was talking about Golovkin Canelo situation. I'm hoping, Snap, that this don't turn out to be a Carl Frampton, Leo Santa Cruz situation where, Carl Frampton already said that he said, I don't know, we may end up fighting 4 or 5 times. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, he knows that's the safe route. He doesn't really want to fight Gary Russell and Oscar Valdez. So with Golovkin,
or Guillermo Rigondeaux.
Yeah, or Guillermo Rigo. Or Guillermo Rigo. Oh, we already know. He jumped ship on that one. So Snap, I mean, what do you think? Do you think Golovkin is going to go the Canelo route and just stay there, or do you think he's going to fight the Jacobs rematch and all that other stuff, or what?
I think that he's going to take the Canelo route, but at the end of the day, Oscar's smart, and they've seen the last 2 fights of Golovkin that he had some chinks in his armor. So this would be the right time to come and gun him down.
Yeah.
And Oscar's smart, and if you see when you stepping up your level of competition and you start to see them holes in your armor, that A+ fighter that they believe that you are, when you start going up against other A+ fighters, then you come to see that you're a B+ or a B- fighter. And if I was Oscar, I would come and gun him down right now.
Yeah, and that's why I don't understand why Oscar keeps saying stuff like, if you fight BJ Saunders, you might not get the fight. And after, the way you looked against Jacobs, now, we giving you less money. It seems like you said, they would be like, oh man,
All
let me be the first person. Like I said, he like that version right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And everybody trying to crack that cherry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So it seemed like they would jump at it. And I know Jacobs, man. He must really be sitting, down saying to himself, even though some people thought he won.
I actually thought he pulled it out.
Yeah.
Honestly.
When we walked away from the TV that
You
night.
did too, Kevin?
Yeah. I guess. But, and like I said, me and Dontae, we watched it together. I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, man, Jacobs pulled it off, man. We pulled it off. And then they read the scores. I wasn't upset. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think it was a highway robbery.
Right.
But I just thought that Jacobs did enough to pull it out. Then I went back and watched it the next day. I could see where the judges, because some of the rounds were razor thin. They were very close. And so I'm like, okay, they went with the champion. If it's a close round and if all else, even, we probably going to give it to the champion. And I think that's what they did in some of the rounds.
But that's one loss that I would take any day of the week.
Yeah,
right?
Oh yeah.
Any day of the week. It doesn't tarnish him no way, shape, or form.
Oh no.
I agree.
Oh no.
And just to add on to what Kevin was saying earlier, real quick, everybody want the title, but you got to realize once you get that title, you got to watch what you ask for. Because everybody you fighting is a number and is within the top 10.
Right.
So sometimes, like I always say with my guys, these promoters these days ain't letting you milk the cow no more. They want to see what they got before they start investing money in you. So like me, my guys, the first 5 fights is on the house. And then I want to see what I got because at the end of the day, I'm a manager. You know what I mean? And I don't want to give nobody no false promises. Anybody know if anybody I'm stepping in the ring with, when that bell ring, they gonna come and get you.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying I don't take. I take my head off to any fighter who puts on gloves. Nobody's really an opponent because anybody can hit you. Only take one hit.
One hit.
So that's why I tell my coaches to punish them during training.
Yeah.
Punish them. That's your measuring stick.
And Snapper, let everybody know. Now Malik Hawkins, he was supposed to fight a real tough Russian undefeated Olympian, right?
Yeah.
What happened with
Ukraine.
that?
Me.
Former,
15-0 with 9 knockouts, so a former Olympian, bronze Olympic medalist, and to me, I made it public. I think he chickened out. They looked at Malik, and they, it's so funny that Banner Promotions was supposed to sign Malik at one point in time. We were sitting down with him, but they didn't. So Banner has this guy. Once they really realized. Because when Roy fought in Delaware, I was there with Roy, and I seen Mark Abram that works with Banner Promotion. And I told him, I said, y'all had a chance to get Malik. Now we're going to tear, the fair office. You know what I mean? So they know we were serious. Malik ain't coming in as no opponent. We coming to take that title. So all of a sudden, he faked. I believe that.
You said he faked it.
Yeah, he's running, and somehow his ankle. Bust out. Then they gave us another guy, 18-0, with 11 knockouts. We accepted
From Puerto Rico. Juan Ruiz, right?
Juan Ruiz. All of a sudden, I got something yesterday showing that his knuckle is busted all up. I got it right here. So we got another opponent.
Oh, that sucks, man.
Malik 21 years, just turned 21 years old, 10-0, and he's running them scared already. Because they know, you can't call us out. We're going to fight. We're going to fight.
And while he's looking this up, just letting you guys know, we're going to take another call in a minute, okay, guys? So I appreciate you guys on hold right now. Go ahead, Snap. He got it up.
That's John Ruiz, supposed to be his knuckles right here.
This is his hand right here.
Yeah, so this is legitimate. But the guy before that from Ukraine,
So this right here, as you guys can see right here, this is his hand right here. Well, see, yeah, there you go. Call, but my man Kevin, man. So, okay, hold on one second. Yeah, you might want to come over, watch that stuff over here. Just leave that stuff. Yeah. So, anyway, y'all, we getting everything situated over here. So Kevin, I want to talk to you about some boxing news before we go to the next caller.
Yes, sir.
Now, Kell Brook, Errol Spence, you know what's going down May 27th. 17,000 tickets sold in one day. Now, Kevin, what was this when they were saying before Kell Brook signed the contract? They were telling us nobody know who Errol Spence is.
Yeah.
But he sold. But 6 million people watched him knock out Bundu.
Yeah.
So I mean, now to 17,000, and I'm not trying to say that them 17,000 people came for Errol Spence. Of course, they came for Brook. But if 17,000 people were going to come in the first day, then there was no excuse for him not to take his #1 mandatory, right, Kevin?
No, definitely. I mean, Kell Brook made the right choice, man, in fighting Errol Spence, man. Obviously, people want to see the kid versus the rest of the champion, so he made the right choice. Now, did he make the right choice from a boxing standpoint? We're gonna have to find out, because I don't think so.
We're gonna find out.
But I mean, hats off to Kell Brook, man. He's you got to give him some credit and respect for taking this hard of a fight, coming off a hard
absolutely.
fight with Golovkin, man. This kid,
But he had to keep his belt though. I mean,
he had to. I mean, you when you work so hard for something like that, you just don't give it up. And I like that spirit in him. But that this kid is he's another, like, him and Tank got that same. They're killers, man.
Yeah.
Errol Spence is a straight killer, man. And I think he's gonna come for Kell Brook's head in that fight.
And Kevin, I mean, I you tell me if you disagree. Yeah. I know me and Milt, we disagree on this, but when it comes to the champions, I've always said I felt that Kell Brook is probably the most complete, best champion right now. You agree or disagree with that?
At the 147-pound weight division, I think he is the best, the most complete one. Keith Thurman, he's a good boxer, but he can't seem to take a body punch too well. Kell Brook, he went up to Golovkin, and Golovkin he didn't even put him down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, he's tough. He's a really good boxer. He showed a lot of holes in Golovkin. He's a good boxer. He's got decent speed, decent power, good size. He's a good thinker and a good boxer, man. So I think he's the most complete at 147, with the exception of Errol Spence. Okay.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Your assessment real quick on that, my man Snap?
I believe that Earl going to take it home. Yeah. I mean, it just hands down. It's Earl's time. The way the universe is set up, man. These young guys, man. They got to get their time. Kell, he earned the title. I think he was a great champion. I think he is a great champion, and. But it's strap season for these young guys.
Strap season.
It's strap season.
Man down.
And one thing I can say, I commend Al for, and these promoters and managers, they're bringing it back to the old days. The best got to fight the best. They made it more about, and don't get me wrong, everybody want their palms greased, and I thank Mayweather for bringing the revenue up in the boxing game, because these guys deserve it. They putting their life on the line every time they get in the ring, so they deserve to be compensated. Like me, I ain't, of course I got a family, I want to support mine, but it's about the boxer. You know what I mean? I got a few boxers, and I do other things on the side besides boxing. But at the end of the day, I worry about my boxer, because they train 24/7. They in there taking the punches. So me as a manager, I'm that guy right now, because I care about my fighter.
Absolutely. I hear you. Let's go ahead and take another call. Once again, I appreciate you guys staying on hold. We have an international call. We have 447. What's going on, man? Where you calling from, and what's your name?
Oh, hey, man, it's me again, man. It's Seth, man. I'm out here.
Yeah, Scotland.
Scotland in the building.
Yeah, we got Scotland.
Yeah, word up, man.
The American Scotland. What's going on, brother? What's good with you, man? What's on your mind?
Well, listen, I just wanted to chime in here. I wasn't planning on doing it just because, I got in there last week, but I've been. This is something kind of interesting, because I was watching Sky Sports over here, right? And the way they asked the question when they were interviewing Kell Brook, right? and they ask him, I think, some kind of petty, stupid questions, sort of like, well, what do you think about this Mr. Spence coming over here? Like, they kind of don't really, like, the media, at least, like in this particular
they're trying to suggest he's
with
overhyped and everything or something like that, right?
They kind of actually minimize the fact that it's kind of like they want to put the highlight and the spotlight on the grandiosity of the Bramall Lane. They're fighting in a soccer stadium, you know what I'm saying? And it is true. Look. I mean, it's no secret. Like, the UK fans are maniacs, and they back their people left, right, and center, and it's a beautiful thing. But what I gotta say, at the end of the day, though, I mean, and I'm not like Mr. America proud and all that shit, but when it comes to boxing, goddamn, like, we bust their asses every day. Fuck all that. Like, we do some damage, man. Like, American boxers with the talent, the overall boxing IQ, if you will, that I feel is prevalent in the American boxing sort of game, I think beats out Britain. And I think that really Kell Brook is sort of like, I mean, kind of like they're holding on to the fact like he's going to do great things. But the thing is that what they don't understand, though, is that this fight is all wrong for him, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think Spence is gonna fuck up his night, man. Mm-hmm. Like, I really think that, like, I just think that this is all wrong for him, man.
Yeah,
I think,
and I've been saying for a minute that, you know, I think that Kell is there's a few people that stuck. You know, I think Kell is one of them because at 147, I know you think that he's the most complete fighter at 147. But I don't see him mixing it up with Thurman.
I said champion.
Yeah. Thurman.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants Thurman. I don't know if he wants Danny. I don't know if
Kell?
Kell.
No, Kell. He did say he wants. I mean, if it was up to Kell,
he would not fight
both of them.
Yeah.
Man, he
Errol Spence.
When Jesse was his mandatory, he was ducking Jesse.
Yeah, I mean, he got that opportunity to take the Golovkin fight. You know, of course, he wanted that Golovkin money, but at the same time, if it was up to Kell Brook, he would have went around Errol Spence and fought Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao. He would have fought everybody except for Errol Spence, and that's just the credit to Errol Spence because
how long has he had that strap?
He's had it since the Porter fight.
Porter, that was what, 3 years ago.
Yeah, and
2 years
you
ago?
can't tell me he could not have found his way to fight one of the other guys instead of, you know, we calling him the mandatory king now because he was fighting his mandatory.
Well, he was the mandatory king until Errol Spence became the mandatory.
Right. And so I just don't see him. I don't know if he wants to stay at 147, but I don't know if he wants to move up to 154 either because there's a lot of waiting for him up at 154.
Oh, yeah. I
you
mean,
know?
He'll probably. I mean, you know, he calling himself the Terminator now. You know that, right? Because that socket bone, you know, they replaced it with metal, basically. But you know,
they're gonna be calling him Fetty Wap because
they straight out, right?
Yeah. They're gonna be calling him Fetty Wap. He keep bugging around with Earl,
but
he might lose that eye.
But he got his chocolate brownie though. You know about his chocolate brownie,
man,
right?
That's the gayest shit I ever heard about. Like,
that sounds kind of weird.
That wasn't it weird, bro? Bro, that was weird. I don't know what the chocolate. A piece of the chocolate brownie.
He said that. Hey, I'm just quoting what Derek James said. He was like, he told us he gonna give us a piece of his chocolate brownie.
That cat will be known as.
Man, Arrow ain't gonna let nobody talking about no chocolate brownie.
No, not at all,
man. Let's be serious.
He said that ain't going down, Kevin.
Hell, no.
He will forever be known as delicious.
Arrow's a straight dog, man. He ain't gonna let nobody throwing no chocolate brownie.
You know, hey, what did Riddick Bowe call this overhand right?
I don't even remember.
The African soup bone.
That's what he called it?
Yeah, Riddick Bowe.
You going way back.
Riddick Bowe is different, though.
But I'm saying he called it the African soup bone.
Yeah.
How you go from African soup bone
to chocolate brownie?
Yeah, come on.
I feel you.
Chocolate brownie.
Yeah.
With that accent, man. If you don't get your gay ass up out of that shit.
Man, the UK going crazy. And, hey, once again, and for all you UK fans, y'all love filling up the comment section. Go ahead and call in and tell us what you disagree with.
Call in.
Now, when we go live, they're afraid to call in. You know, it's nothing to be afraid of. You just call in, let us know what you guys think. All right. So, you know, because they love to fill up the comment section, but they don't call in, you know. So, Kirk, real quick, just to get you to chime in real quick, man. So, what did you think, going back real quick before we change some topics, and my man, thanks for calling in, brother. We're going to get to the next call because we got a couple people on hold,
Yeah,
okay, man?
All right, peace,
All right, take care, brother. All right, man.
Okay,
So that was Scotland. That was Scotland right there calling in. But anyway, Kirk, so what did you think about the to me, it was proof. The 17,000 seats sold in one day, which means it's going to be a sellout. It's 32,000 seats total. It's going to be a sellout within 2 weeks. So that was an excuse. I mean, what do you think when they said there's no reason for Kel to fight his mandatory? Same question I asked Kevin. What do you think about that, Kirk?
They're trying to undersell the value of Errol Spence, so that gives them an excuse to duck him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that
Rhetorical
was.
question,
But
obviously, but yeah, I'm just getting you chiming in.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what that is, man. And let me ask you guys. We're gonna take another call, by the way, guys. So thanks once again for holding. But I want to pull up this this pic of Julio Cesar Hercules. So we're gonna pull this up right now. And Kevin and Snap, I want to get your thoughts on this real quick, Milton. Before I pull up the picture, you seen the picture, right, Milton?
I've seen the picture. Yes.
Okay, so what do you think? I got it up now, Kevin. And Kevin, we looking at it. You guys see it on the screen right now. Kevin, you know you're an experienced boxer. Mm-hmm. Seeing Julio Cesar Chavez make this type of transformation, does it make a difference? Does it change your opinion a little bit at all of how that Canelo Chavez fight plays out?
I mean, nah, but he looks in great shape, you know, but muscles don't win fights. You know, skill wins fights. And I feel that Canelo has the better skill set. He's the more disciplined. You know, he's been more active. You know, he's young, he's hungry. You know, Chavez, you know, I mean, in his time, you know, he was doing his thing, you know, but he's just not a disciplined guy, man, you know, and I feel like discipline is what gets you over the hump.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
in this sport. And
Very
I mean,
well
maybe
said.
he's you know, he's taking this fight more serious, but you know, Canelo's the man right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And,
Yeah.
and you know that kid he's a great talent as well, and I feel like, you know, he's gonna make the weight. He's gonna look good.
Yeah.
But we're gonna see what happens when he gets inside that
Yeah,
ring.
that ain't gonna speed you up.
Nah,
that
nah,
ain't
nah.
gonna
That
that ain't gonna make you smarter.
Muscles don't enhance your brain or your skill set. What you got is what you got. You can enhance your skills by working hard, but obviously, you know, this guy ain't really worked hard throughout his whole career. You know, he used his father's name, and you know, of course, you know, he was a world champion, I think, at one point at what was that, middleweight?
Yeah, it was middleweight.
Yeah, but I mean, he's
Until he got beat by Sergio Martin.
Yeah, he's been a big guy, you know, a good puncher, but at the same time, man, you know, this guy Canelo, he fought Floyd, and he's gotten better and better and better. He's beaten everybody in front of him, you know, with the exception of Floyd. You know, in the Lara fight, a lot of people didn't think he beat Lara, but he got the decision. But you know, the kids, it's his time.
Yeah, and Snapper, I mean, it would seem that his style would almost be tailor made for
Yeah,
Canelo Alvarez.
straightforward, man.
And real quick to give everybody an update, Snapper, before you respond to that. So Malik Hawkins is fighting against Carlos Soto.
Yeah.
And he's an undefeated fighter from Mexico.
Yes,
right.
He's,
So
13-0 with 7 KOs.
So that's what it is, and that's the fight on April 14th. Showbox, right? Showbox, right?
Showbox, yes. It's at the new MGM Grand in National Harbor in Oxon Hill, Maryland, by DC.
Maryland in the building. So yeah. So what's your thoughts on that Chavez fight? You made a muscular transformation, so you could talk about this. You lost like what 200 pounds?
Yeah,
and
something. Yeah.
Congratulations, man. So
From
what do you?
386 to 200. Yeah, 220. I mean. Yeah.
That's deep, man. So tell me, what do you think about Julio Cesar Chavez transformation, man?
I second everything Kevin just said. I never seen him as a real threat to anybody. He was always living off his daddy's name. He hasn't came out the shallow yet, and that's just my opinion. He hasn't, and when he has stepped up, and you know, you get what you get what you put in your body. You know, you put trash in it, you get trash out. You know, and I just don't see him as a A fighter. I just don't. I think I'd be lucky if it go more than 7 rounds.
Yeah.
He's a punching bag, man. Straight-ahead punching bag.
You said wow, Milton. So you see it going longer than that. You see it competitive.
I see it being competitive. I'm like You remember What's Love Got to Do with It? Ike say, I done put down that narcotic. He done stepped away from that weed, man.
Man, but he remind me of Victor Ortiz. You put that heat on him, he gonna crack.
Ooh, man.
So you talking about a different type of flaw. I thought you was talking about this. You questioning his heart.
He did.
I'm questioning more than his heart.
Against Fanfara,
but
he folded up.
Fanfara.
He was used to being the bully, right, Kevin?
Yeah, you put that heat on him, they can't take it.
Canelo's punching, man. You know he's punching with both hands. He got good speed.
7.
You know what? Hey, Kirk.
Yeah,
Kirk.
I think
Hey, Kirk. You listening?
Yeah.
Here come the grenade in the room. Here come the grenade. I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna walk out.
Go ahead, drop it.
Chavez Jr.
What's my opinion?
We got a live one.
It's a heavy bag, man.
Anybody got some NyQuil, some Theraflu? Because he got a fever over there.
Hey, guys, we're about to take another call. So
They
once
say I'm
again,
sick, man. I'm sick.
we appreciate you guys holding. But hey, you guys tell me what you think about this. To play Chavez advocate, I remember when Canelo fought against Angulo, slow as molasses. That was probably 30% of the prime Angulo. But there were spurts in that fight where Angulo was kind of walking Canelo down, and you could kind of see Canelo moving away almost like he was uncomfortable with the pressure. I mean, did you see that, Kevin, or what?
What I think it is Canelo. He's just a boxer at heart, man. He's a boxer. He's a Mexican, but he's a boxer.
He is.
He's a boxer.
He is.
But I mean, and he can bang.
Boxer puncher.
But he's a boxer puncher. He can box good on the back foot. And Angulo pinned him against the ropes and was letting off shots, but he was running his shots back. He seen what he did in the end result. He busted Angulo up. Same thing with James Kirkland. James Kirkland pushed him back. He let him push him back, then knocked him cold. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the kid can box and he can bang, and I think that was probably more so of just his comfort zone. Like sometimes, fighters, they get comfortable. You sit on the ropes, you catch shots, you pick shots off. You let guys come to you, let them burn themselves out, and then you start busting them up. And I think that's partially what that had to do. That's what that was about. And then I think the weight also. I mean, Canelo is he's a big kid, he's a big frame. He drops a lot to come down to 154, man.
Well, Milton, you're gonna look like a Buster Douglas genius.
Hey, man. I've been running the numbers. I had to calculate out. What'd you say, Kirk?
The fight might resemble the first fight between Cotto and Margarito.
Cotto,
outboxing him and dominating him, and then Margarito coming on late, using his size and loaded gloves, overwhelm Cotto because he couldn't withstand the pressure. So we might see that.
Wow.
7 by stool.
You said 7 by stool.
Man, he gonna retire?
By stool. I like that. 7 by stool. I like that right there.
He gonna put in for retirement.
I just feel. I mean, I don't know if Chavez is capable of doing it, but I just figure, if he can establish a stiff jab and use that to work his way on the inside and apply pressure for 3 minutes of every round. I just feel even with the Kirkland fight, I felt Canelo didn't look comfortable even in that first round when Kirkland had him on the ropes and he hurried up and tied him up. He's supposed to be, he a boxer, but he's still supposed to be Mexican style. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna say one thing.
Go ahead.
Chavez is coming from probably 200 plus pounds down to 160 pounds, 64, 65 pounds. Man, that guy is not gonna have what it takes to beat this.
You feel he gonna be drained then?
I'm not gonna say drain. Yeah, exactly. But I'm not saying drain. This guy chose to bring himself up that high in weight over time. He's not disciplined. So I feel at the end of the day, he's gonna take the weight off. He's gonna be a little weaker than what he normally is used to being.
I will say, man, you are extremely wise beyond your years.
I mean, you gotta be. You gotta. I mean,
you are wise.
You gotta be smart in this sport. You gotta be smart, man.
You've been in boxing since he was like that. How old was you at, Kevin?
Extremely wise, man.
I started watching boxing when I was like 3. I started boxing with Jeff when I was 9, and I stopped. Got to go be a regular kid. Came back, at 16, man, hungry and focused, man. Been doing it ever since. I'm 25 now.
Yeah.
But I know how the game goes, man. This dude is coming from 200 plus pounds. I don't care who you're working with. At the end of the day, you take off that much weight, you're not going to be at your best.
Nacho is a genius, man.
And Jack Johnson, just to go back to Jack Johnson, who was it he fought against? Jim Jeffries, right?
Jim Jeffries.
And dude had to come down from he came off of his form. He came off of his alfalfa farm weighing like 300 pounds because they was looking for any white hope. Yeah. They was looking under every pillow rock trying to find, we got to find someone to beat this bastard, right?
Roy took off, 20 pounds of muscle?
25.
And he fought Antonio Tarver.
When he went up to Ruiz, came back down.
He didn't even look the same, man.
No.
Didn't look the same.
Roy tell me that all the time.
He was a shell of himself.
Y'all
man.
don't think
Snapper,
that way. There's a fact.
It is a fact.
And,
It is.
and Snapper is Roy Jones' right hand man.
Yes,
you know,
indeed.
he like the Sam Watson, of Al Heyman with Roy Jones. So you know what it is. Let's go ahead and take a call once again, man. We had these cats on hold for a long time. We always appreciate you guys on hold. Okay, we got 503. What's going on, man? What's your name and where you calling from, man?
Hey, what's going on, people? It's Jelani from LA, but living in Atlanta, man. Shout out to Milt.
Hey, what's good?
What's good,
How
man?
we doing, Shawty?
Hey, not much, man. I have a question. Two questions to the brother that Kevin Newman, man. Much props to you, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
I can see your shine, man. Your spirit. You got a good spirit, and I can see you going far, man.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
Question to you, man. Like as a young boxer, man, how do you, on the same lines of weight management, your nutrition? Do you have a plan? Do you have like some kind of a cook, or how do y'all deal with that as a young fighter? Like, which way you're intaking your food and everything? Is that like important to you, or is it just? Have you figured that part out yet?
Yeah, when I turned professional, man, I started taking everything to that next level, man, in terms of preparation. So I'm a Google head, man. I Google everything. All the food that I put in my body. Everything I put in my body. I want to see what is really doing in my body and what's gonna help me perform at my best. So yeah, diet plays a major key, man, in performance, man. It's your body's like a car, man. If you're a Lamborghini, you put 85 gas in it. Yeah. You're not gonna run at your best. You know what I'm saying? So if you're putting McDonald's, in your body and you feel you're a Lamborghini, man, you're not gonna perform at your best 9 times out of 10. There's something else out there that you could put in your body that will help you perform better, man. And so I'm real strict on myself, during training camp when it comes to diet. Now outside of training camp, that's a different story.
Unless you Floyd,
Floyd is that special one, man. I watched the guy come in and eat a Big Mac and hop in the ring and spar. The guy is just different. You know what I'm saying? And this is no joke. Take bites of a Big Mac, put it down, get in the ring, take some fries and spar, man. Drink soda during sparring.
He's an alien, man.
He's an alien, man. He's God gifted. He's been doing it since he was 1 year old. And I mean he's different, but you don't base yourself off anybody else. You base off what works for you, man.
Absolutely.
So you gotta, just if you wanna perform, try and be your best every time out, man. Just eat a clean, healthy.
So you
diet.
don't smoke or drink or nothing?
Oh no.
Okay. So
you
ain't on that Maidana diet. You ain't on that Maidana.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Outside of training camp,
Mayorga diet.
Outside of training camp, man, I love ice cream. I'm a candy fiend. I like cheeseburgers, pizza. I eat it all. But when during training camp, I buckle down, and I want to be the best out there, man. So I do everything I can to give myself that edge that is legal.
And just a follow-up question. Hold on, fam. I'm going to let you get back in there. But one follow-up question I had for you when I came here. Yeah. And it's like, you're a 25-year-old young man, strapping, well-built, living in Las Vegas. Yeah. How do you...
Sin City.
How do you get past the pitfalls out here, man? And, the nightlife is fantastic.
Yeah, I never been enticed, by the nightlife in Vegas. If I go out, I'll go out, with Floyd. He'll invite me out. If he invites me out, I'll go out with him, man. But for the most part, man, I'm with my kids. I'm focused. I'm training. You know what I'm saying? I'm a homebody, man. So I'm playing video games. I didn't had all the girls through high school, man. So nothing really shocks me, about this city. I'm not a kid coming from Baltimore, So where the bright lights hit you, you just like, oh shit, like what is this? I've been living here, since I was 9 years old. So none of that fazed me, man. I didn't train under it all, I don't worry about it, man. I just get out there and do my thing.
For sure.
Let's say it on straight, young man. Man, these young guys, man, they veterans.
I see that, man. Your head is so screwed on, man.
I didn't came up in the gym with Floyd since he fought Marquez, man. If I didn't take something from that, man, and what that guy and the work that guy and the discipline that he puts in, man, I didn't get nothing. I didn't get nothing there.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And hey, brother, we're gonna let you go, man. Thanks for your call. All right, man.
Hey, bro, can y'all one more thing, man? Hey, I know it's kind of reaching back, but about Billy Joe Saunders, man. Hey, can y'all speak on that, man? Because this guy is selling wolf tickets, man. I want to know y'all's opinion on that, man. But I appreciate y'all taking my call, man.
Hey, no problem, man. No problem, man.
Much love.
You want Milton? You want to start on? You know what, Kirk?
I'm gonna get Kurt in. I was just going to say,
Kirk, go ahead and respond to that, man. What do you think about? You think Billy Joe Saunders just selling wolf tickets, or do you think maybe he just figured out that Golovkin said to himself, like Kevin said, let's go with the money, and instead of risking BJ Saunders? What do you think, Kirk?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I think Billy Joe Saunders realizes that Golovkin, he's going to try and go for the money, which is Canelo, which is something that he should do. And if he knows the fight's never going to happen between him and Golovkin, he might as well make himself look like the guy that's trying to make the fight happen in front, like he's really the one trying to make things happen and that he's the one being ducked, and to get some kind of notoriety and publicity out of the situation. So I think that's what kind of factored into what he's been saying as of late.
Yeah, I mean, because the more I hear Tom Loeffler talk, there's articles that they're making the Canelo fight a priority, and they're focused more on that. And this was all after Oscar said, if you guys take that BJ fight, you might not get the Canelo fight. So to me, I mean, I don't really know if BJ Saunders is like just afraid and he was acting like he wanted to fight. I think he really wanted to fight. I mean, I think like the video I did, man. After that Jacobs fight, Golovkin is the most wanted man in boxing right now. Everyone wants to be the first person to officially beat him, because you're going to get tremendous credit if you're the first one to go down there. And just like your boy Kevin Floyd Mayweather said, he said, man, I wish I was training Jacobs, because I would have, showed him how to do it the right way. Yeah. I mean, if there was something you could tweak, Kevin, when it comes to Jacobs' performance, and I'm going to ask Snapper this too, what would you tweak?
I would say, just he boxed great in spurts. I feel like he was playing a lot. He even hit him with the Michael Nunn, the little shoulder thing, because he was so relaxed. But I mean, maybe just be a little more aggressive. A little bit, I agree. A little more aggressive, and I mean, I think,
especially when Golovkin was backing up and not punching, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was just shelling up, and he was just letting him bang on him. So I think Danny had a lot of respect for Triple G.
Yes,
and I
he
think
did.
They showed each other a lot of respect in the fight.
Exactly what we did.
And I think that caused for kind of a clash in their output, both of their output.
Right.
But if I was Jacobs, I mean, if I was to tell Jacobs anything, it would have been just to be a little bit more aggressive, man. He could have pulled that off.
With no type of controversy.
Yeah.
Even though they had him down, like about 2 judges had him down. Even if he didn't get knocked down, 2 judges actually, I think, would have still gave the fight to Golovkin, though. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
I'm just saying this. One thing we've been talking about a lot is what's next for Triple G, but nobody's really mentioning what's next for Jacobs. Because the thing is, after that performance, who's really going to...
They want Jacobs to fade. They don't...
Yeah, I know. Because who's going to step up? Jacobs has no strap now. What's the incentive for somebody going over there getting that work?
But Jacobs is with PBC, right?
He's going to get the Felix Sturm treatment.
So hopefully...
good point, Kirk.
Hopefully, they don't throw him in there. I mean, I don't know, because you got some good fights, though. I mean, Jacobs could go against Lemieux. Lemieux just coming off of that great win over Curtis Stevens. I don't think they're
going to put that together, though.
Yeah. Lemieux is golden boy, too, But Jamal Charlo, Jamal, he's going to try to...
He has no strap, though.
And that's another question. Is Golovkin going to stay at 160 if he gets the Canelo fight and hang around? Well, I already talked to Abel Sanchez, and Abel, he basically said we don't want that Charlo fight. He said nobody wants to watch it. He said if Golovkin beats Canelo, nobody is going to care about the Charlo fight. Wow. So I which to me, we know what the translation is on that.
You don't have to speak Spanish to understand. That means we don't want that fight.
Not at all. Not at all. And let's just try to take another call real quick, guys. We got 334. What's going on, man? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's good?
What's going on, man?
It's Anthony.
What's up?
Yeah, I called one time before now. So it's like my second time calling.
Okay.
But I want to I have like 2 questions for you real quick.
Uh-huh.
Can you explain me a little bit better on the HBO situation, on like why they keep pushing everything to pay-per-view? Because I know they had like the Cotto and the Kirkland fight. They had that on pay-per-view, and it seemed like everything. And I did hear something about budget cuts, but I kept noticing like everything they keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? Like they're doing an over emphasis on pushing.
That's what it is.
Pay-per-view fight.
I'm gonna tell you guys, and you tell me what you guys think. I think this all stemmed from Floyd Mayweather leaving HBO. When Floyd Mayweather left, think about how much money and Showtime invested to get. They was willing. They got rid of Strikeforce. They got rid of all of that just to invest in Floyd Mayweather. That's how important.
I think it paid off.
That's how important he was to the network. Mm-hmm. So when Floyd Mayweather left HBO, they didn't have those big pay-per-views anymore, all that money that was generated, and they treated him like a nappy-headed stepchild, which it didn't make sense. You treating the person who's making all this money, you treat them like that. Now they have all of these fighters that they trying to, they trying to sell as the next Floyd Mayweather.
Hey, bro.
We seen Golovkin's last pay-per-views. No,
not doing
not
it.
Golovkin either.
Let me tell you what they did.
Not
Let me tell you what
Golovkin
they. Remember when my man got rid of New Edition and it was like, I'll make another group. And then when they got New Kids on the block.
Yeah.
So, they was trying to make they trying, now that New Edition is gone, they're going to make a New Kids on the block.
But the difference with that analogy is that actually worked when they turned New Edition into a white group. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they actually sold more. But this is
that's
the
what
opposite.
they thought they were going to do.
You're right.
That's the reason they
You're
were
right.
pushing Triple
You're
G.
right. Yeah.
They were going to build that,
They thought he was going to be the new kid on the block.
Right.
But
they thought he was going to be their Justin Timberlake.
Right.
They know. They know.
Because I remember Nicholas, I think Walters, he had said, he been trying to get a fight. They didn't really want to get him a fight. And I remember that Pacquiao situation where they didn't even want the fight. They said they wanted to give him like they crying poor, and I realized like HBO had way more prescribers than Showtime, and I know from a television problem it's not that, but it's acting like they going broke or something. Like,
but they are.
I know you're looking for good fights, but goodness, like nobody's gonna buy no bomb ass fight, nobody, some illegitimate fighter nobody ever heard of, and you just throw him in there and just think it's gonna work. Like Triple G is not a pay-per-view fighter. He's never.
Not. They keep trying to force him. Nate Campbell said it best. Former champion. He said, you can't force somebody on me. I could think on my own. You can't just tell me this is the person we supposed to watch. This is the person we supposed to say, or believe is pound for pound, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We got eyes and ears. We seeing these things. And this is Golovkin's second pay-per-view. The first time he was on pay-per-view. Now, the word is one of the HBO execs got fired because they put that Lemieux fight on pay-per-view, and it did 97 to 100, something thousand pay-per-views. That's the problem. Deep down, like Milton said, they're really thinking we need someone who physically appears, to the public, appeals. Excuse me, someone who physically, appeals in a light way, But that's old school. But it's proven.
But that don't
proven that you can't.
Because that goes into my second question I was gonna ask you. Like, I did agree with Jim Lampley when he did say, from a PBC standpoint, that I know the good aspect for the fans aspect, we get free fights, and it does work good from that standpoint. But I agree, because I heard some trainers even say that it's like you do have to build fighters, like for a personality, like Earl Spence. From a fighting standpoint, he looks real nice in the ring. You want to see him, but a lot of people don't know him from just a can of paint. Like,
no, they don't.
If you got to like boxing to kind of know it, if you just go randomly and ask somebody else, they're not going to know who you're talking about.
That's because he doesn't have the names. That's because he doesn't have the names.
Yeah, you want to build a personality and, get to know away from. I didn't realize lately you're from Texas. I didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying? I'm into boxing. So, from, building that personality, I do think PBC and Showtime do need to find a better way to get to know, because if you want to sell people, growing up, I knew Pernell Whitaker. I knew Kevin Kelly. I knew Roy Jones Jr. You know what I'm saying? You knew who they were, where they was from. And if you want that crossover appeal, you got to build a fighter and their personality. Like Earl Spence, how is any of these fighters going to be pay-per-view fighters if they're really not really that known? I haven't heard Spence even talk that many times. From a conversation standpoint, to know his personality, like who he is.
I agree. I agree with you, bro. And you make a whole lot of good points, man. And I want to thank you for your call. We're gonna add on to what you just said, man. But I'm gonna let you go so we can get to another call. Take care. All right, man.
For sure.
All right, Snapper. Basically, with you being a manager and all, I think to kind of piggyback and add on to what he was just saying right now, Snapper. I feel the problem is they're not basing stuff off of who's the most talented. Like in other sports, basketball, you have scouts that go out looking for the next, superstar. They go to see how good he is. But in boxing, it's more of American Idol. You know what I mean? Where you looking at who looks to be the part as opposed to the talent. I mean, is that how you see it, Snapper?
I see it that way as well. But just to add on to what he was saying, Showtime, I believe, this is my personal opinion, they take more risk and for younger fighters.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's why they got the better, that's why they're taking over HBO's stock.
Mm-hmm.
Because, HBO, when Floyd left, they got the Canelos and the Triple Gs, and they thought these was going to be their cash cows, so they lost focus on the younger guys. And Floyd, being with Showtime, and brought that younger generation over, they're going to take it. They're going to take it over. That's why even Al doing a good job giving free TV like back in the day when Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler was fighting. Right. It was the best fighting the best. Everybody looking like, why are they letting these two undefeated guys fight each other? There's no harm, no foul. You got to fight to see. You want people to spend their hard on pay-per-view $75 and up now.
Yeah.
You want the people to spend their hard on dollars, but you got to fight. You got to prove that you best. Like Ric Flair said it back in the day. In order to be the man, you got to beat the man, and that's the truth.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, I totally agree. Great breakdown, man. Great breakdown. But like fighters like Malik Hawkins, Kevin Newman.
Speaking on that, when he was talking about how fighters they shadow other fighters. Malik being in the same, like everybody know who Gervonta Tank Davis is.
Mm-hmm.
But you say Malik Hawkins, you got to maybe Google him to see who he is.
Yeah.
And Malik is hot.
Yeah.
Like, everybody, why Malik, why people don't know Malik as well as they know Tank? It's not Malik's time. Stay in your lane.
Mm-hmm.
It's Tank's time. Tank paved his way.
Exactly. Like he signed with Mayweather, too. I mean, that helps, too.
Even still,
Tank
came out the gate first.
Yeah.
So you got to stay in your
lane.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
When you go in that ring, or Kevin, he go in there and fight, it's him and his opponent, the next man. It's not him, Gervonta Tank Davis, or him and Floyd Mayweather. It's them two, so you got to focus on yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's only you could be hot as a firecracker.
Yeah.
But take that one loss, everybody going to forget about you.
Yeah.
Unless you get a loss like Danny Jacobs.
Yeah, unless you get,
that type of loss. And to add on that.
Or a draw like Pernell Whitaker.
Bingo. To add to that, it was a typical case of the horse coming out the gate first ain't the one that always win the race. I honestly believe you had me coming behind a young veteran right here, Kevin. His knowledge is impeccable.
It is,
so
isn't it?
It's hard coming behind him because everything he said that I was going to say, but
what you said was real. You got to keep your
but really to add to that. These guys really got to stay in their own lane. That's it, basically. Just stay in your own lane, and you'll get your shine. If you that good, you only can fool the public for so long.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why Malik's 10-0, but his coaches, they believe in him. I believe in him, and it's time. If you train and you doing everything, that boy live, eat, and sleep the gym. So if you in the gym and you putting in all that hard work and the team see the dedication you putting in and sparring, he sparred guys like David Grayton and he in there taking some good punishment. These guys is over top of him right now, but they're in the same weight division. You got to watch that a little bit as well, but they're giving him good work. When he went up there to spar with Julian Williams, J-Rock for the Charlo fight. These are experience.
That's some good sparring.
Yeah, for Malik, a young fighter, 10-0. So you guys better watch out. You got Kevin, young guy coming up. You got Malik Iceman Hawkins. You guys watch out for him. These guys will be champion. Because It's a
I'm
difference.
Gonna say one thing, man. Light skinned brothers coming back.
They're coming back. They're coming back.
You look at Tank. You know,
for real.
Yeah, look at him. Yeah, he remind me of it. Yeah.
You look at Andre Ward, man. Come on.
This
man.
is the DeBarge era.
Yeah, they
This
coming
is the
back.
DeBarge era.
saying?
Oh,
I'm gonna make
man.
sure,
Gotta give
man.
us some credit,
I'm
man.
doing
I don't care.
everything I can.
I
I'm
don't care
fighting.
if
That's
we.
right. That's
I don't
right.
care
You
if
got
we.
to.
I don't care if we yellow, orange, red, or a blackberry, Blair. You know, it don't really matter. You know what I'm saying? It's going down. It's going down. It's a good time right now. But Kevin right now is emerging. You know, so that's pretty much what it is, man. Like, let's just try to take. You know what? Before we're about to take a call real quick. Let's get everybody's predictions. We got a real good fight this weekend, man. Vasyl Lomachenko.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to talk about him calling everybody out, man.
I wanted to holler at Kirk about that one too.
Yeah, absolutely. Kirk, let's go ahead and set it off with you, man. So Vasyl Lomachenko fighting against Jason Sosa. For those of you guys who don't know, Jason Sosa, he had a good fight with Nicholas Walters that he did lose to, which they had a ridiculous draw, but he lost the fight. Then he knocked out Javier Fortuna.
Yeah.
So he has momentum right now, but Lomachenko has momentum too. So, and matter of fact, what's his name? Jason Sosa, he just recently said, I'm better, of course, than Salido. I'm stronger, and I'm a lot more. I can offer a lot more than Salido. He said he's going to shock Lomachenko. What do you think about him saying that? How does it play out, Kirk?
He said what he's supposed to say. If he shocks Lomachenko, he's gonna shock me too.
Oh man. Hey, so Kirk, do you think Lomachenko has got better since the Salido fight, or do you think that's the kind of style that kind of bothers him? I mean, what do you think?
I think it's a combination of both. I think he has gotten better since that fight because the more you fight, the more experience you gain, and that was his very first. Wasn't that, I think, his very first fight against
Second
Salido?
fight.
Yeah, the second fight. Second fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Second fight. So, I mean, you kind of, that's a tough fight for anybody. If you look at Salido's resume, he's fought Juan Manuel Marquez, Robert Guerrero. He has a long list of.
And he gave everybody a hard time. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a tough fight. That's a tall glass for any fighter. And for that being his first or second fight, that's asking a lot of Lomachenko. It's placing a lot of faith in him to be successful. So I think he's learned a lot from that. He's become more accustomed to the professional style of fighting as opposed to the amateurs, because he's known as one of the greatest amateurs of all time, obviously. So I mean, he's learned a lot from that fight. But I do think that style presents problems for him when you're constantly smothering him and you're putting that constant pressure, that mental and physical pressure, and you're digging into the body. It doesn't really give him time to think and time to use his strengths, time to use his footwork and, the things that makes him great. So it's a combination of both, I believe.
And Milton, me personally, I think Salido is more like a Maidana. And
Bruiser.
Yeah, Jason Sosa is a little bit more conventional. Right. You know what I mean? With Salido, you don't really know what punch is coming at you. He like a Tasmanian devil. But I think you kind of know what's coming with Jason Sosa. He shells up. He did a good job of trying to smother Nicholas Walters. So only thing I will say he has over Salido, I think he's a little taller and he's stronger. No doubt about it. He's stronger than Salido.
Right.
So how does it play out?
He's going to get schooled by Lomachenko.
He's going to get schooled.
Yeah, I think Lomachenko, I don't know if he knocks him out. I don't know. Has he been knocked out?
I think he did get knocked out in his I think his first loss was a knockout. I mean, you guys can correct me in the comment section on that one, but I think he did he did get stopped though.
And if so, it's been a minute, and he has a lot of ring experience, man. But I think Sosa does better than Nicholas Walters did. I think he does better than that, man. But I still think that in the end, Loma is going to win this one.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Hey,
but
Kevin,
one of the things
you ever heard of Dontae Grayton?
Dontae Grayton, yeah. He's from what? Was he from the DMV, right?
Yeah, DMV.
Yeah.
Okay.
He fought and beat what's the kid? He was like 6-0 at the time. He fought him and beat him on TV a couple months ago.
Yeah, Remo.
Kareem Martin, and then he fought. Didn't he just fight?
Terminator.
Citron, yeah.
Oh, that's
okay.
right. Yeah. I knew that.
So pugilistic purist, you just got the shout out for Dontae Grayton by Kevin Newman right there.
Yeah.
So they said shout out. And by the way, we didn't have time to really look at the chat room, so I just took a glimpse at it right now. Shout out to you guys.
That's David.
Shout out to the kid. Shout out to my man Jimmy.
Oh,
my man Jimmy J Smooth. What's going on, family? I see you, man. I see you. That's what it is.
Yeah, you talking about the kid Demetrius Ballard too, man. You know the kid can fight too. I remember him from the amateurs.
Oh yeah, he's good too.
Was that David Grayton that was on, or was that commented, or was somebody just mentioning it?
No,
was
no,
that Grayton that was. I'm saying, was that him?
No. It was someone in the comment section that said, "Shout pugilistic purist." He said, "Shout out to Day Grayton, tough fighter." You know, so
man, Malik worked with him all the time. Man.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's what I was just saying.
So we got Maryland in the building though. So
they give Malik good work, man.
Oh, okay.
Him and Halim as well.
That's what it is.
That's what's up.
That's what it is, man.
Hey, Kirk. Before we get off that subject with Loma though, I got to talk about this elephant in the room. I don't know what it is that everybody is seeing in Mikey, but what is it that makes everybody want to fight Mikey Garcia right now?
That's what I was about to.
That's the new Mayweather though. That boy can fight.
That's what they were calling him. They was called before he took his hiatus. They were saying he was the Mexican Mayweather. You know,
the guy can fight.
I mean, he's a good. Would you pick him over Lomachenko?
But I'll say this: I won't pick. Yeah,
you'll pick him.
You know what?
He popped low.
Yeah, remember, he comes from a great boxing family, with his father being a great trainer, his brother being a great fighter, or a solid fighter, and now a world-renowned trainer as well. And Mikey can box, and he has power.
Man,
and he's been in the likes with Manny Pacquiao and sparring. I mean, I'd love to see the fight. I think he has a bright future in regards to. He wants to have the big fights.
Man,
and he's on a path to having that
Lomachenko and Tank.
Lomachenko and Tank.
I want to see that.
You want to see that one? You know, Lomachenko called. My bad. Go ahead, Kirk. You know, Lomachenko.
Go ahead.
You know, Lomachenko called out Tank, right?
Man, you know
Lomachenko been talking. Yeah. He been on his Tupac lately, man. I mean, he called out Mikey Garcia. He called out Tank. He called out somebody, and he was that was on
Instagram, right?
Yeah. He was firing shots at Mikey Garcia because Mikey basically said, "Man, you lost to Salido. I beat him easy." But then it was like a rap battle because then Lomachenko came back and he was like, "Yeah, but you got knocked down by Roman,
Gonzalez.
Not Gonzalez. Rocky Martinez. You got knocked down by Rocky Martinez in the fifth round." He said, "I knocked him out in the fifth round."
And
so they was going back and forth.
But then Mikey say, "Hey, man, Rocky had been through so many wars. By the time you got him, he was woe out." You know what I mean?
But that's a good point, though.
Man, you still got Gary Russell hovering around up there too.
But that's what I was about to say, Snap. When I seen Lomachenko beat Gary Russell, that made me say, "Wow, if you could beat," because that's like beating a Floyd Mayweather almost. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to, don't worry, I ain't trying to say Gary is Mayweather, but Kevin know what I mean, though. And Snap know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Gary Russell's nice,
but I think a rematch would be different, though.
What'd you say, Kurt?
Go ahead, Kurt.
Yeah, like that was a step up fight for him too.
Yeah.
I mean, that was his really first big test. So, I mean, I'd love to see the rematch, but the great thing is a lot of the prominent fighters at 130 and 135 are talking shit and calling each other out.
Yeah.
So that leads me to believe that the fans are going to get some great fights within this year and the years to follow, with the top guys fighting each other.
2017 has been a great year for fights. Man, I mean, this first half so far, man, it's.
That 130, 135 division is hot. I got a little kid. Roy had him since he was a little pup. Freddie Wilhite from out of Pensacola, Florida. He's 130.
I think I heard of that kid.
Yeah, he's 5-0 with like 4 knockouts. This kid nasty, man. Yeah, we gonna get
135.
Him out. Yeah, 130, 135.
130,
yeah, but this kid he's exceptional, man.
I think I heard of this kid, man.
Frederick Wilhite. This kid can fight.
There's so much talent in that area, man.
Yeah, and Jamal Harris. He took a L. Got hit, after the bell, and but these guys out of Pensacola, they sleepers, but they were working right out of Roy's gym, right out of him, and Roy's training them, man. These guys gonna make their mark coming real soon.
No doubt.
That's what it is. Hey, let's try to take another call, y'all. We got 916. What's going on, 916? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Lamar calling back from Sacramento. What's happening, y'all?
What's going on,
good,
fam? All right, what's good?
Not too much, man. I just wanted to touch on a couple of the topics y'all been talking about today. First, Golovkin came back up again. Last week I called in, had enough of that Golovkin talk, but
that ain't gonna stop until he lose. or he beat somebody big, you know.
I see. So today the talk was him going up to 168, and I mean he really don't have no choice at this point, because if he get the Billy Joe Saunders fight, and then the next thing is hopefully he get Canelo, or maybe not. If he don't get the Canelo fight, he got 4 mandatories lined up, which ain't none of them going to be really big fights. So he's going to be sticking around, still fighting the fights and getting 150,000 pay-per-views and stuff. I mean, you got the Highland and Charlo winner going to be a mandatory. You got Toriano Johnson sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
Then you got Kersey and Langford fighting at the end of this month. So those the fights he got in front of him if he don't do nothing with the Billy Joe Saunders and the Canelo situation.
Absolutely.
So I think he's gonna be forced to go up to 168. So
well, yeah,
that's my take on.
Yeah, it's either stay at 160 and be pressured into a Jacobs rematch, or Jamal Charlo, you know, and there's not even a guarantee he'll beat Toriano Johnson. I keep telling people Toriano Johnson, he has like a Maidana type of style, a lot of power, aggressive, and it seems to me like Golovkin is not comfortable with people that have power similar to his and they're aggressive. He's not comfortable with that, you know, because until Jacobs, he never really dealt with someone with that type of power, that size, that athleticism. He never dealt with that before.
That's why I told people about the Chris
somebody that's going to hold the line.
The Chris Algieri?
No, Chris Eubanks Jr.
Oh, yeah.
He's an aggressive. I came up with Chris Eubanks since we was about 18. Man.
Oh, really?
We sparred numerous times. You know, the kid is aggressive. You know, he's big. I'm a big middleweight. You know, he's a big middleweight. You know, the kid can fight all day. You know, good speed, you know, good power, you know, he's aggressive middleweight, and I feel like that fight will cause Triple G some problems too. Man,
Kevin, you on your game. I think, especially after the Jake. I mean, I thought he would give him problems before, but after the Jacobs fight,
I'm gonna say this: Chris got better stamina than Danny Jacobs does.
Oh yeah,
that kid could fight. He could fight all day long, man. That kid could fight all day. And he got power in both hands. You know, nasty uppercuts. He's aggressive. You know what I'm saying? He's the type. If you put him in the position that Jacobs was in, he would have been all over Triple G.
All over him.
The whole time.
All over him.
Is that right?
Yeah, man. He's a kid is a dog. You know, now he can't deal with boxers because I didn't box his head off. That's my boy, but I didn't box his head off. You got to understand, we still in the same weight division. You know, I didn't box his head off. But now, when you talking about fighting, the kid comes to fight, man.
But that's good. You giving this flaws. You giving the cons and pros. You know, you giving the strengths and weaknesses. And we know he ain't got to worry about boxing when it comes to Golovkin.
But I will say this: in that fight, Triple G, his jab was on point.
Oh yeah,
and that's what I feel like that might have won him the fight because he was landing such clean, powerful jabs. You know, that's the main. With Golovkin, that's the main thing you got to watch out for is his jab because he bust you up with it.
Yeah,
man.
Especially when he's fighting someone whose power he respects.
Exactly.
Yeah,
he gets on that stick. He did it with
Lemieux and Curtis Stevens.
And Stevens.
Yeah.
And what was my man's name from England? Martin Murray. He loosened him up until he kept going jab, body until he just wore that man down and just beat him.
But Snapper and Kevin, that's why I'm wondering if Golovkin would give Canelo problems because I keep forgetting. You know, when we see them we don't never see them side by side, but you forget Golovkin is a lot taller than Canelo.
Yeah,
and he has that jab. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just wondering. You know, that means Canelo got to get on the ends. He got to nullify that jab, right?
Canelo's a big frame. He's a big.
You think so?
Canelo's a big frame.
Well, yeah, I'll give it that. Canelo is a better,
way better boxer.
He is a way better boxer.
More speed.
More speed.
Mm-hmm.
His defense is getting better too, man.
All he has to do is get past that jab. I think.
Expose him.
I've been saying for years. I told Floyd back right after he fought him when his Uncle Jeff was in the hospital. I said, man, that Canelo fight, I said, that was the only fight of yours, man. I said, where I was a little bit worried about, man. He made a joke and we laughed about it. I said, ain't nobody gonna beat that kid, man. He said, ain't nobody gonna beat that kid. He said, at 54, he said no one's gonna beat that kid, and I feel the same. I felt like Canelo's gonna spank Triple G. You know,
he probably will, but I gotta disagree, Kevin. I think there's a couple people that could beat Canelo, though, man. I think Laura beat him. I think Laura beat him.
This is in 2013.
Okay.
Laura beat him.
I felt like no one was gonna beat him at that time.
At that time.
You know, now you got the Charlo brothers. You got Andre.
Yeah.
You know, and the Lara fight. You know, I mean, a lot of people say they beat him, but at that time, I felt like that kid was just, no one was gonna beat that kid.
And you gotta realize too, Dontae, a lot of these guys that
was 4 years ago.
when they fighting, it's a learning experiences.
Yeah.
So they do exactly what it takes just to win that fight. But if they was in that predicament the second time, Kevin he's a boxer. They didn't know what to do different.
Yeah, of course.
Because every fighter is different.
Yeah. No, good point, man. Good point, man. Really good point, man. So we'll see, man. I mean, we'll really see when it goes down. But whoever wins that fight is going to get a lot of credit. Go ahead.
Hey, I had one more thing.
And I forgot you was even on the line. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Don't worry about it. Kevin,
What's up, boss?
I mean, you in the boxing game right now. So we were just talking about Jacobs and Golovkin, and then we know Danny Jacobs didn't show up for the second day weigh-in with the IBF situation. So that led me to this question. I saw Errol Spence and got to chop it up with him a little bit at the J-Rock and Charlo fight down in L.A. So I weigh 190 pounds.
Yeah.
So when I'm sitting there, talking to Spence, I'm looking at him and I'm like, man, this dude is a welterweight. He's looking like my size or bigger.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
So I'm wondering how, when he gonna go to the United Kingdom and get on the scale that second day, like, is that gonna affect him? I hear a lot of people talking about Kell Brook having weight problems, but Spence a big boy too, man.
Okay. Now, for instance, like I was saying about the Chavez Jr. thing, Chavez is coming from probably 190, 200 pounds to 160, 65 or whatever. Errol Spence is probably coming from about 170, 175 down to 147. Now, I think that if you take off, there's a certain amount of weight you could take off and then it'll drain you. I don't think that the amount of weight that Errol's taking off, if he does it the correct way, is going to affect him, because at the end of the day, I don't think that, he's putting it on through alcohol and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's probably just eating food, you know what I'm saying? And getting just bigger, but I don't think that's going to have an effect on him when it comes time for them to weigh in and fight. I don't think so. I mean, I think he's just a big welterweight, and I think like they blew the whole Danny Jacobs thing out of proportion with the second day weigh-in. I think that was to me it was just bullshit, because it seemed like Max Kellerman was just picking at Danny Jacobs over and over, asking the same stupid ass question about the weight. Like, bro, he weighed in at the weight limit.
Yeah.
It don't matter what you weigh. If you put on too much weight overnight, it could slow you down. It could make you sluggish. So they kind of blew it out of proportion just in case he ended up upsetting, Triple G.
Of course.
And I feel like, that's stupid, because you got, at the end of the day, guys be fighting Floyd, come in 20 pounds heavier, but they don't bring that shit up.
They don't bring it up.
When Floyd's fighting guys, when he fought Canelo's 172, Floyd's 149. When he fought what's his name, Cotto, he's 168, Floyd's 147.
They didn't even mention it.
People don't mention that shit, man.
Right.
But like I said, they were mentioning about Golovkin, man. That's just the politics of the sport. So no, I don't think in that fight that weight is going to be a problem. They're both big welterweights, and it's going to be an explosive fight, man.
Absolutely. All right, man. Hey, well, I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for your call, family.
I apprite it, man.
All right, take care. Take care.
Hey, I had one question, man, and I don't know, Snap, if you're familiar, or if you know, but I know you're around that DMV area. Have you heard anything about what's the future for Antoine Douglas? Because I was watching this kid, man.
He just fought back to back. He fought 2 weeks apart.
Yeah. 2 weeks apart.
Yeah, he just got a knockout win, right?
Yeah, I remember him from amateurs. Good fighter, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad to hear that, but how is he off the radar though? I mean, I thought he would come back on the radar.
He took that L, and he had to get some time off, man. A rumble like that, man.
Oh yeah.
For one, you got to deal with the the mental pain, and then you got to deal with the physical aspect, and get back in the gym and make sure you can get back on the horse. Like I say, anybody can lose, man. You just got to prepare yourself, to get back on that horse and win.
I mean, everybody here at Dontae's Boxing Nation, I know we big on him. And I know I think the future is bright for him. Him and the young master. They took some losses, man. Him and Amir Mom. I thought that they were good.
But I like Amir Mom, but I think Douglas is a little bit more complete.
He was,
than Imam, because Imam he showed he couldn't really fight on the inside with Granados.
I remember Imam from the amateurs, man. He was dope, man. I remember watching him in the tournament. I was like, damn, who is this kid, man? I think like, in that fight, it just looked like like you said, on the inside, his defense was a little. It was like he was doing the shoulder roll, but he wasn't really rolling punches off his shoulder.
He was just letting Granado's punch.
He was just letting him bang on him and kind of roll his head with the shot instead of rolling him and catching and shooting.
I think
back,
he underestimated him. I think he underestimated that
I watched him train at the gym. He came down and trained. I don't know if it was for that fight or the fight before, but the kid got great skills, man. He's an old. He's an old school fighter, but his defense. He lacks in the defensive area, man. And at the top, man, you got to be complete.
Yeah,
it's another light skinned brother, man. It's a sleeper that I like. That's coming out there. Matter of fact, he's in the gym with Earl Spence, a guy Rob Brandt.
He could fight too. I remember.
Brandt, Rob Brandt, man. He's a sleeper.
He didn't gotten better, man. He
man,
gotten a lot
trust
better.
me,
He's been knocking them boys out.
Yeah, he gonna be a champ.
I know all them boys. They fight him on weight class.
Yeah, he in 160, right? Yeah.
I know everybody at 160 on the come up.
Yeah, Rob a good man.
He's a good fighter.
Yeah, he's coming up.
And you introducing me because I'm not familiar with him. That's why we got Kevin. That's why we got Kevin the Snapper on the show right now, man.
Rob Brandt, he got the same training as Earl Spence.
He got a good
boy.
one too.
I remember the name.
Rob Brandt, light skinned brother from I think he's out of Texas too, right? If I'm not mistaken.
He's not from Texas. He's from somewhere else. But he's not. He's not.
He's from one of them. Off little.
Yeah. He could fight, man.
He can fight.
Emmanuel Lim, you know, that's one of my boys. He's
I
another
remember.
160. Man,
Lim, he give Malik work. He bigger than Malik.
He just knocked
out.
Yeah. He was on the undercard. Who was he? Knocked out somebody on somebody undercard.
He won that W.
No, that was the Russian
silver belt.
Red Cat. Was it Red Cat?
Keytroff. He was on the card with Tank.
That's what it is. Okay, I just remember seeing the highlights of him on the undercard. That must have been the Tank undercard.
Yeah. He helped Malik solidarize too, but he a bigger guy. You know, Malik 147.
That Malcolm McAllister, he could fight too. He just fought the other night. But that kid Halim, he got some speed. Man, he got some speed in there.
One thing about Halim and David Great and Dede, man, when you spar against them, man, you better bring your talent up. They coming. You know what I mean? These are the type of guys you want your guys in there when they come up for a fight, because from start to finish, these guys, that's one thing I like about them. You bring your guys in there to work with them, they're going to work.
Because
Keytroff
fought Halim.
He sparred with Jake. Well, didn't he spar with Jacobs too for the?
No, that was another Russian.
Okay.
But he fought Emmanuel Lim, man. And he brought it to Lim, but Lim smoked his ass.
This is the okay.
Yeah, he won that WBC silver belt.
Yeah, I'm getting these Russians mixed up, man. Kevin on point. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
There's some good talent out there, Dontae. I'm telling you. I'm just catching them early.
Middleweight smoking right now.
Y'all smoking.
Yeah.
Welterweight and lightweight and middleweight, man. That's
from 147 up to 168, man. Right now, it's just
it's stacked.
You know, and I would say, man, but a lot of people, I think 175 is pretty good right now too.
Yeah.
Because
if you look at
least the dude's way at the top.
I'm
speaking
of
175
at the top, it is.
At the top.
But they saying that but when it comes to the middleweights, you got all these up and coming. Yeah.
You know, from guys like myself on the come up to guys that are to the guys that are in contender status to the guys that are at the top level. I mean, the weight division at 160 is stacked, man.
It is.
Is Ward still talking about retiring?
No. They sent a contract to Kovalev.
Oh, really?
They already sent him the contract.
Come on, man.
See,
come on, man.
Man, it got me a little bit. It reminded me of, I thought it was going to be one of them Lennox
Lewis,
Vitaly Klitschko things. I thought
that's
he was
what I
run
thought
about
of.
the game. Right.
I was telling people, I was like, Ward is like Floyd in a sense. If he's
business side.
No. Not only that, but the fact that he's a competitor. If you feel that it was close, okay, we're gonna run it back and we're gonna see what.
But I hope he don't end up like Roy. Roy did the same thing.
But Roy, that's a great point.
But Roy was a lot. He was a lot older. Roy was older at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
We're not talking about a prime Roy.
Yeah,
we know what a prime Roy Jones was.
But that mental aspect.
But Roy was actually doing better in the rematch against Tarver. I'm saying, but in the rematch, he was actually doing better. Until he got caught with that. Yeah. All it was Tarver beat him to the punch with his left. They both threw a punch at the same time. Roy looked better in the rematch than he did in the first fight. Yeah.
But he got caught behind the glove. He had his wrist up.
I don't even
know. Roy's my man.
I know that is your man.
But once they cracked the glass, I mean, it wasn't nothing to mend it.
Yeah.
So you
got to understand with Ward, he's been down before.
Mm-hmm.
He's been down with the guy back when he was fighting at 160. You know, so I mean, like I said, it's just like Floyd when he fought, Castillo, when he fought Maidana. People like, okay, this shit they think it was close. Okay, let me run it back. I'm gonna bust his ass. And I think that's what this is gonna be.
I just hope we do it for the right reason because, me and Roy, that's my guy. Talking to him, he went back and did a lot of this stuff for the fans. Just,
Right.
you know, you want to see me, you
Yeah.
think I lost? And then when he lost,
Right.
this is my guy, and we talk all the time, and it still haunts him that he was that guy. And as soon as he went back and fought everybody for the fans and lost, the fans turned their back on him.
I know, man.
And to this day, it's something that still haunts him.
That just comes with the sport, man.
It's horrible, man. I hate that. That's the reason why I don't call no fighter a bum.
And you have to have lizard skin.
Oh, here we go. That's another
discussion.
conversation.
That's why, man.
But
we don't.
Yeah, but you can't.
Floyd never gave him the satisfaction. He never gave nobody the satisfaction. He beat everybody in front of him. He never gave him the satisfaction to even go there. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you got to be, man.
And that's what I commend Floyd. He wasn't a follower. If he felt as though he didn't want to do it, he didn't do it because the fans got underneath his skin. Because if he did it, it was
for him.
Yeah. You got to tip your head off to a guy like that.
And Kevin, speaking of that real quick, you noticed Floyd Mayweather, when he had a close fight with Maidana, first they was like, oh, Maidana beat you and all that kind of stuff. Floyd is scared of giving rematches. He gave him a rematch. Like you just said.
Gave him a rematch.
When it comes to Golovkin, though, you know what I mean?
It's them A+ guys.
Now everybody said, oh, you don't need to fight him. Move on. He lost the fight.
But listen what you just said, though.
Come on, man. We know
You said Roy Jones Jr., you said Floyd Mayweather Jr., and you said Andre Ward. These are guys, these are A+ fighters.
Right.
They're all given rematches.
And they was God gifted. So when you God gifted them, you believe in yourself, you're going to take them risks.
Because like I said,
people think they risk, but to them, there's no risk.
It was so close. If Jacobs had won, they'd be camping out in Brooklyn waiting for a rematch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, if Golovkin was a Roy Jones Jr., Floyd Mayweather Jr., then he'd be asking for a rematch himself.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, you got A minus, B plus, and you got A plus guys.
And this is the problem with the sport of boxing. This is the problem with the sport of boxing. If they promoted everyone, everyone was created equal, that would make the sport bigger. You know what I mean? Once again, all this talent y'all just talked about, all these fighters and stuff like that. If all of these guys got the same type of push, and obviously I'm not expecting them to get the push of a guy who's 30-0, but at least, you see this dude coming up, you know what I'm saying? Give him the type of push that he deserves, and that's what it really comes down to, man. So,
just,
absolutely.
Before we sign, man, I just want to say, just coming up, we already talked about Lomo and Sosa, but on that same card, you got Alexander Usyk.
Against
Michael Hunter.
Against Hunter.
I didn't
and we didn't, and I forgot. Shout out to Michael Hunter, man. We didn't even talk about that and that's a tough fight.
I know.
I was talking to my boy.
We're trying to get to it all, man, but we can't.
Yeah.
So Michael Hunter, man.
That's a very good fight, man. And that's a tough. Michael was in tough, man. Michael was in real tough with that one, man.
Usyk's in tough too. Man.
Yeah, that's true.
Also,
they both stepping up, right?
Also on that card, Alexander Gvozdyk against Yuneski Gonzalez. That's going to be a good one.
Oh, see, I didn't know about that. Yuneski is back, huh?
Yeah, but the
Cuban brawler.
I watched that guy Gvozdyk fight over in England in his last fight. I watched it live, man. He's hold on, didn't he fight Chilemba? Isn't he the one that
I'm getting these Russians mixed up right now, man?
I think he's the one that beat Chilemba as well.
He fought Chilemba on the Ward undercard?
Yeah, on the Ward undercard.
Matter of fact, Roy was training Chilemba.
Ward was training Chilemba.
Roy was training him.
Ward was training Chilemba.
Roy stopped the fight.
Yeah, Roy stopped it because he was saying he had his hurt elbow.
Yeah.
So this guy, he can fight too. So him and Yuneski Gonzalez gonna mix it up. I still think that Yuneski won that fight against Pascal. So, but he's lost since that point. But I thought that he was going to be one of the people that was going to contend at the light heavyweight title. But Ricky Burns, Julius Ndongo going to fight for unification on the 15th.
Boy, Ricky Burns, man, he always popping up out of somewhere, huh?
Yeah, I know.
I know Broner, he wanted that real bad, man.
I know. Him and Ndongo going to mix it up.
I'm glad that didn't happen, though. I prefer
for the WBA, IBF title.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's my man Milton, always giving us the updates on everything when it comes to these fights. We got so much to talk about. Hey, but guys, we are basically out of time right now. I want to thank all you guys for tuning in. Kevin, anything you want to say to the fans before we shut it down, man?
Oh man, just keep following me, man. I'm not gonna disappoint. I work hard, and just look out for us, man. I'm part of Mayweather Promotions, / the Money Team. So just follow me. You can follow me at Kevin Newman _II, on all social media, and just look out for me, man. I'm coming real soon.
All right, and my man Snap, man, what it is, man.
Yeah, everybody tune in to Showtime, April the 14th to watch, Malik Iceman Hawkins, witness greatness. The young kid, 10-0 with 7 knockouts from Baltimore, Maryland, fighting for his dream. And we got, it's a stacked card. You got Samuel Clarkson fighting for a title, the main event. Everybody come out and support the event. It's a Showtime event. Every card is going to be action-packed. Greg Corn Promotions put on a good card with Banner Promotion. You can always follow me on Snapper Boxing Management on everything, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and everybody fill the house. Buy the tickets. Call MGM Grand, inbox me on Facebook, Instagram, and follow these Kevin. Follow Kevin as well, and I thank Dontae for having me on the show, and I'm always here. And me and my man Roy Jones Jr., we always accessible to you, Dontae, and we appreciate for having you on the show.
All day. We're going to have Roy Jones in the studio one of these days as well.
Whenever you need him.
Snap going to bring him in, man. So we're going to have him in the studio too, man. So once again, man, I thank all my special guests. Y'all going to be hearing a whole lot about this man right here. Kevin Newman is going down like a plane crash. A TMT in the building. Yeah. And let me go ahead and say, shouts out to my sponsors, Box Fan Expo. If you guys are out here in Las Vegas, May 6th, the weekend of Canelo versus Chavez, you need to be up there too, Kevin. Yeah. Hang out with the fans, man. Take pictures and everything. All the fighters are going to be there, from the hagglers to everybody. They all going to be there signing autographs, taking pictures. That's the Box Fan Expo, okay?
And I will have a booth there as well. Snapper Boxing Management. I'll be there.
There we go. See? It's a small world. So so Roy Jones going to be there too. Go ahead, Kevin.
One more thing. I'm fighting April 29th at the Palms Casino on the Babel Shumnev undercard versus another undefeated guy, 7-0. I'm 6-0, so I'm gonna go ahead and take his old man. Check me out.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I heard that. So if y'all in Las Vegas, come check my man Kevin out. All right, y'all. We out, guys. We on to the next one. And once again, my man Kirk Jackson. Check out his website, boxinginsider.com. All right, Kirk. We'll see you next week. All right, Kirk.
All right, man. You take it easy.
All right, Kirk. Thank you.
All right, brother. All right, guys. So we'll see you guys next week, same time, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. You know what it is, y'all. It's the nation, baby.
Peace.
Peace.
Take care.